and talk about the biggest player in the social enterprise space, and it would have to be the Acumen Fund. It's an international fund that's dedicated really to the development of the social sector. They entered India 6 years ago and today have investments in 13 companies across multiple sectors. Here's their story.
Drinking water, something most of us here in urban India take for granted. Compare this to rural India though, where people might gain access to drinking water only once in 5 days. Even then, often they have to cross miles just to get their share of 2 buckets. An organization that has been following this space quite keenly is the Acumen Fund, a philanthropic fund which is using an entrepreneurial approach to solve the problems of global poverty. Founded by Jacqueline Novogratz in the year 2001, the fund has invested $60 million globally, 25 of which have been approximately invested in India.
In 2001, with a small group of people, created Acumen Fund with this idea that you could take philanthropic money, philanthropic capital, charity, and rather than give it away as handouts, invest in those entrepreneurs who refuse to see the poor as passive recipients waiting for charity, and instead to invest in innovation that were bringing basic services like water, healthcare, housing, energy, agricultural inputs.
Headed by Meghna Rao in India, Acumen's role has been to look for companies which have a powerful social impact. The social impact is key, but they firmly believe that this cannot be achieved unless the company itself is profitable, viable and sustainable.
We look for financial viability because we take a venture capital approach. So like a venture capital firm, we have a deep due diligence process, and then we do place equity or debt into the company, and ultimately we would look to exit very much the way a venture capital company would. And our end objective is not to maximize financial returns, but to recycle our capital back out into the market to increase our scale of impact.
All of Acumen's funds are raised through grants with their key investors including the Rockefeller Foundation and Cisco Systems. Apart from investing up to 49% in companies, Acumen also provides management assistance, talent and most importantly a global network for the companies. One of their portfolio companies which certainly benefited from this is Sikitsa Healthcare.
Do you require a doctor in the ambulance? You just need a basic ambulance. May I know the condition of the patient?
201. Detail dijiye, sir.
An emergency ambulance company under the brand 1298, which was founded by Shweta Mangal with the objective of making ambulances accessible to the less fortunate.
We were very clear that this service has to be both for the people who can afford to pay and people who cannot afford to pay. And so we finally decided the way this model will work is that we will charge people based on their destination. And the destination in this case could be only 2. If they are going to a private hospital, we will charge them. And if they are going to the government hospital, we will give the service up to 50% off.
From just 10 ambulances in 2005, today they have 566 ambulances spread across 6 regions within India, and each of them having a doctor or a fully trained male nurse, a helper and a driver.
Water Health International is another company that has been funded with 9 crore rupees by Acumen. A community water purification system, WHI provides quality drinking water through its turnkey solutions and plants that are set up in partnership with the government or the panchayat within catchment areas. Their ability to minimize cost is by using customized technologies across different areas.
For our kind of business, we use ultrafiltration, we use UVW radiation, and we also use RO. We are a company which is not wedded to any one technology. We use the technology depending on its suitability and requirement for remediation of the contamination.
Apart from water and healthcare, Acumen also looks at sectors like agriculture, energy and housing. Out of their current portfolio of 14 companies within the country, half of them are profitable and the remaining are still to break even. So does the venture capital backed model really work for social enterprises? To find an answer to this question, I met with Vineet Rai, the founder of both Avishkar and Intellicap, two of the largest entities in the social enterprise space in the country.
Is social entrepreneurship really thriving in India? The answer is yes. But has it really arrived? The answer, in my view, is no. There's a long distance to go for it to arrive.
Has the view of the venture capital industry really changed towards the social sector?
Microfinance demonstrated a social business like microfinance can become very large and therefore can become profitable, and very profitable at that. I think what microfinance has demonstrated, it is very difficult to quantify the risk that is associated with social sector. And I think that's where the major departure happens between a social sector and a mainstream. So are the VCs excited? I think a lot of VCs are excited, but after what has happened lately in one of the sectors where some of them have massively invested, I think VCs are far more skeptical than they were actually earlier.
Acumen so far has stayed clear of the microfinance space in India, instead focusing primarily on healthcare and energy.
These are in India, Pakistan and East Africa.
Their real goal to show the community that the right way to scale social enterprises is not by maintaining a social approach, but one that embraces profit.
If you'd like to get in touch with the fund, you can visit their website. Let's take a quick breather here on the show then, but coming up.
We meet Rangde and Malap, the two community lending startups reaching out to those below the poverty line.